What's up, YouTube? Capital G here. So, over the weekend at YCS Miami, Nicolas Reardon basically played the role of the Lone Ranger in the Fire Fist community. I am absolutely shocked and astonished and dumbfounded to announce that he was the only player solo to make the top 32 cut. In fact, he took it one step further. He made top 8, which is absolutely amazing considering his age. I believe he's 13 years old. That does not discredit his talent or his skill in this game in any way. Just going set the record straight. Now, what did we know about Fire Fist going into this event? We knew that they had a fast, aggressive playstyle, which generally translates into success in the TCG. We knew that they were a highly anticipated deck. That means that should have translated into, at least a pretty decent showing as far as the numbers go. And we knew that their track record in the OCG was something that flat out cannot be ignored. This is a deck that is a competitor of the highest caliber. They're a threat to take any Japanese tournament. So, everything pretty much was in their favor, but they only had one deck make the top cut, and I will say that I'm a little shocked on that. Now, Nicolas obviously took his core deck straight from the OCG. In fact, I want to almost make an announcement. Ladies and gentlemen, you are now entering the OCG, because if you look at Shriek and you look at some of the other Japanese sites, this deck was taken straight from the OCG, and it's good to see that it instantly translated into winning. You know what I mean? So let's go into the deck list really quick. He played 3 Fire Fist Bear, 3 Gorilla, 3 Dragon, 3 Vorse Raider, 2 copies of that Rabbit, 3 copies of Tenki, 3 Tensu, 3 Mystical Space Typhoon, 2 Lance, 2 Pilot Duality, Monster Reborn, Heavy Storm, Dark Hole. For his traps, he ran 2 Mirror Force, 2 Torrential Tribute, 2 Bottomless, 2 Compulse, 2 Solemn Warning, the Solemn Judgment, Fire Formation 10 Sin, and Starlight Road. Now, first thing that jumped out at me is the OCG influence of Vorse Raider. This is a card that, if you've been watching this channel, the bandwagon of Vorse Raider combined with Deck Devastation Virus, I'm basically driving that fucking bandwagon. I believe in it so much. Not only does it make your Mermail Atlantean matchup so much easier, but your wind-up matchup becomes very, very feasible. In fact, well, this is not a matchup you'll have to worry about moving forward. I mean, when you can just activate one card and basically win against your opponent, I mean, that's a card that you're generally going to want to run. I mean, Vorse Raider has really good synergy. The fact that it's a Beast Warrior, you can search it straight from the deck with Tenki. It gets powered up by all your Fire Formation cards. I think that this card is very viable. Again, it lets you activate your Deck Devastation Virus. It has synergy with the Rescue Rabbit, obviously, which you can go into your 1-card Xyz and go into your Tiger King and whatnot. I mean, it's an amazing card. I think it has very good synergy. Now, the fast, aggressive playstyle of this deck, especially of Bear, it's really good in this format, because you have to think decks like, especially with Mermail Atlantean being the number, or being one of the top decks of the format, that deck doesn't play very good defense. One of the reasons that Guaiba was such a strong card this format was because Mermail Atlanteans don't play great defense, and all their monsters have relatively low attack. Bear can absolutely capitalize. The same thing goes with Gorilla. I mean, it's very easy against that deck to just poke for some quick damage, to run something over, and to just instantly go plus. Now, one of the real talents of this deck is the fact that this deck can just make rank 4 Xyz very easily, and this is where some of the matchups become a lot easier. This deck inherently should struggle with Mermail Atlanteans, except for when you have access to Abyss Dweller. I mean, you can just go Rabbit, Abyss Dweller. You can go Rabbit, get Vorse Raider, Deck Devastation Virus. I mean, this deck has all the pieces in place to control some of their bad matchups. Now, obviously, this guy went crazy back row hate. I mean, he ran Heavy Storm, 3 Mystical Space Typhoons, and 3 Lances. Now, that's probably because he wanted to get his Rabbit plays off. I mean, you look at his monster lineup, it's really low. 12 monsters. That's not a lot at all. He doesn't have Pot of Avarice, so there's no way of recycling those monsters back to the deck. So you need all your cards, you need all your monsters to be on the board and living. I feel that his trap lineup was extremely solid. You can see that he ran 2 copies of just about all the power cards. That gives him a lot of flexibility, whether he needs to deal with just one monster, things like Solemn Warning, Bottomless Trap Hole, Compulse come into play, or maybe his opponent is overextending and he feels like he needs to bring the entire house down. That's where you have power cards like Mirror Force and Torrential Tribute that can just clear boards. He also has some protection here with the Solemn Game, and then obviously Starlight Road. And then the searchable Tensen, you know, I feel like his trap lineup is just really good. It's respectable. One thing I really do wish he would have teched that one copy of Deck Devastation Virus to steal wins against Mermail and Atlantean players, or Mermail, Atlantean, and wind up players. You know, I feel like that could have been definitely beneficial. But, you know, a top 8 finish is nothing to sneeze at. So obviously this deck worked out for him. You're starting to see, guys, the OCG is starting to have an influence on the TCG, on the way that we're deck building, and I feel like this is overall just a very solid build. I think that this is probably going to be closer to conventional, and you know, there's not a ton of room for, you know, tech ideas with Fire Fist goes as far as the way that the deck is constructed now. But you know, I definitely feel like it's a solid tier 1 pick for next format. Let me know what you guys think. If you like this video, give it a big thumbs up. Comment. I always like reading comments. Watch my other videos if you would. And thank you guys for watching as always.